Okay. Hello, everybody. Just learning how to talk to myself with this new channel. I'm on my way to work. It's a busy Saturday, of which, unfortunately, I am running extraordinarily late for. I pretty much crapped on the whole day, unfortunately, because it cost me a lot of money, cost the company money, very irresponsible and unprofessional. I've got to get over this stuff. It's one of the things I wanted to address in this video. I see myself as a late person. Frankly, I've always been a late person, but from a young age, down even in my teens, I would be, 5 minutes late, maybe 10, possibly 15. 15 was horrific. I'm from West Virginia, so the idea of being late at all is unacceptable. They generally follow, or at least in my generation, they followed the standard of, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, or however that phrase goes. And these days, I'm beyond late. I need new words in the English language to describe how irresponsible this has been. But the company has somehow put up with it, and I assuming it's my talent, of course, and my abilities that have somehow compensated. But in my book, it doesn't compensate, frankly. It's just unacceptable. So if not for the company and, making a lot more money, I've just got to get back to normal. It perhaps is my single largest Achilles heel or weak spot. And it's not even a spot at this point. It's just a cancer on my whole life. So I got to straighten it out. Years ago, I used to smoke many years ago. Perhaps about 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. I used to smoke. I was a lifelong smoker from when I was a teen, and it was cool. And, that cost has nothing to do with it. Anyway, I couldn't stop smoking. Like most smokers, I tried many times. And perhaps easily over 100, 200 times. And like most people, I put it off. I failed. I did okay at it, but I was constantly thinking about smoking. And, you got that chemical addiction, not to mention that programming addiction in your head that you're a smoker. You got habits, physical habits of lighting up when you're, let me switch hands here while I'm driving. You got physical habits of lighting up when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed. After partner activity, keeping it safe here for the kids. There's just times throughout the day where you always smoke. And so I couldn't stop smoking. But I had two, perhaps even my third kid at the time. And, I was a good dad. I wanted to be around for them in the future. I could see where my life was going. Also ate excessively. I was very overweight. I was always tired, labored breathing. This was in my 30s. And I just realized that at this route and heart or coronary stuff running in my family, heart attacks, stuff like that, there was no way. There was no way I was going to make it to their adulthood and be there for them. So I played with another technique on how to quit. And I lied to myself. Some might call it self-hypnosis. I'm sure there's more technical terms out there. But I just basically one day, maybe the day before, I don't remember exactly, but I said, I don't smoke anymore. I'm a non-smoker. I don't smoke anymore. I'm a non-smoker. And I just repeated that all the time. And I told myself, I threw out my cigarettes, of course. Anybody that's ever dieted knows one of the first things you have to do, logically and intelligently, is get rid of the junk in your house. Empty out your refrigerator of everything you think is bad for you or fattening. Get away from the blah blah blah. You got it. So I told myself throughout the day, I don't smoke anymore. I threw the cigarettes away. I made sure that they thrown away. I think I tore them up or whatever, threw them in the trash just to make sure I wasn't going to dig them out later because, you know, you're addicted. We've all been through that when we try to quit and we can't find a cigarette anywhere, looking in couch cushions and stuff like that. Yeah, it gets that bad with an addiction. So I destroyed the cigarettes or got them out of my house. And then every time I wanted a cigarette, which was for the first day, was absolutely horrible. You know, constant pinging on my brain. You know, I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette. Don't you want a cigarette? Didn't you work hard today? Haven't you waited long enough? I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette. You need a cigarette. Just one cigarette, just a little bit. You deserve it. And all these rationalizations are just popping in my head constantly throughout the day, and I would fight them off with, that's stupid. I'm a non-smoker. I used to smoke years ago, but that was a long time ago. I don't smoke anymore. I'm a non-smoker. So I self-hypnotized myself, repeating that every time those thoughts came. And I would also divert my attention. Humans are not good at paying attention to 2 or 3 things at the same time. Women are a little better at it than men, but we're just not mentally or neurologically structured to be able to simultaneously pay attention to 2, 3 different things at the same time. So, not well anyway. So, I would divert my cravings over to other things. I told myself, you're allowed. You're allowed to have anything you want. You want candy, Snicker bars, one after the other. You want to work out. You want to scream at somebody. You want to, blah, blah, blah. You complain. Whatever you got to do to not smoke that cigarette. Run outside. Whatever you got to do. Even if it's going to develop another bad habit, which will be easier to break later on. Let's just get out of this one lifelong bad habit. So that's what I did. I ate massive amounts of candy, meat, carbs. I think I did a little exercise, not much. I went to work and I constantly fought off that craving. It got easier, especially with lying to myself, saying, I don't smoke anymore. That's crazy. Why would I have cravings, all the way after all these years? Now, I'm saying this even though it was only 2 days in, 3 days in, 4 days in, 1 week in, 2 weeks, later a month. And it got to a point after only 2 or 3 months, maybe, I can't remember at this point, and that's what I'm getting to. I self-hypnotized myself of being a non-smoker so effectively, I didn't even mark the date. Because marking the date as to when I quit would confirm that that's when I quit, which means I was recently a smoker. And now since I'm telling myself otherwise, I didn't even mark the date on a calendar, watch, anywhere, on a piece of paper, anywhere. And as 1 year, 2 years passed, people would ask me, well, how long, when did you quit? I honestly can't remember. And to this day, if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't for the life of me even tell you within a 2 or 3 year time frame as to when I actually quit. The only reason I remember the general time that I quit was we were living in a housing project, and I remember getting tired going up the steps all the time, and I remember the frustration of not being able to quit. And then I finally did. I remember walking the parking lot, trying to get that craving out of my head that was just like knocking me crazy. So where am I going with all this? Well, it's a story of how I quit. It was very effective for me. It might help some of you or some other family members that you have. Go ahead and share the video. It was very effective, but I had to fight it off constantly. And if anybody offered me a cigarette or anything like that, I would behave in such a way of, that doesn't make any sense for me. I'm not a smoker. And I just literally, it was one of those deal breaker type things where no matter what happens in my life, I will not smoke. If I have to go to jail for hitting somebody, I'm not smoking. Not now, not today, not ever. I'm done. Cold turkey. But it was that hypnosis thing and reprogramming myself that really made it possible. It was never possible before that. Now, that's my little story, but that's not where I was going. I've been late, as I've said on a couple videos, to the point of just insane. It's got to stop. So what I want to start doing, on top of something else I didn't even cover in the last video, is I want to start telling myself and reminding myself I am always on time. I am dependable. I keep my word. No matter what, I will make sure to be there on time. If I have to break speed limits, don't advise that. I will be there on time. If I have to go to work with less sleep than I know I really need, I'm going to be on time. These things, the sleep, all this stuff, I can correct later on. It's never good to lose sleep. I believe it's as important as breathing and good food and regular exercise. Sleep is a very fundamental component to good health. However, showing up at work and having job stability and financial stability is fundamental to your normal success in life and your general security as well. So I'm going to start hypnotizing myself. I'm always on time. I am the most punctual person you will ever meet. I am never late. Honestly, I don't think I've been late that I can recall any time in the last maybe 10 years. No matter what happens, I'm always on time. You can depend on me. And maybe I want to throw onto that, always put in a full day of work, make lots of money, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start telling myself. I'm going to start putting it on my phone as a back screen or whatever you want to call it. Start putting post-it notes. The other thing that I'm doing right now, which is only for this month, I'm telling myself, I started yesterday, I believe it was, day before, February 1st. Did a little preliminary the last day of January, but I'm going to go mostly carnivore. I don't really believe that such a diet in the extreme is the best way to go. In addition to that, I do like fruits and vegetables, especially fruits, although I've recently learned in a book that I finished that even excessive fruits are not really good. But I need to lose this weight. So I have a big tummy now. I'm not going to the gym. I'm frequently tired and sluggish until I'm caffeinated. And of course, not having gone to the doctors like I never do. Who knows whether, I'm fighting off something internally that can use a little bit more nutritional help and less garbage. So as of February 1st, a day or two ago, I am going back to my regular health drinks, which I pretty much abandoned the whole month. The girls were here. Going back to my health drinks. I'll go over that with you all a little bit later. It's extremely healthy. Not the tastiest thing in the world, but it's not bad. And stick primarily to meats. As an older gentleman, I've come to believe, and I think it's true, demographically across all cultures, old people just don't need that much food. We're not running around the playground all day long. We're not going to burn off excess that we have. So we should intake less food unless we're going to the gym and doing, all that physical activity. So I'm going to be doing a lot of meats, plain meats, plain cooked ground beef, maybe like I did last night with some of that Rowo, whatever, tomato sauce, ROA. It's fantastic. Doesn't have any sugar in it. Just the sun-dried tomatoes, however way they do that. It's a little more expensive, but it's fantastic. And it seems completely natural and good for you. Put a little bit of that on the ground beef. I think I'm eating like a plate of spaghetti. It's awesome. But of course, no carbs, no spaghetti. So I'm going to be going low carb, almost no, for the most part right now, for this month, no carbs at all as far as the white foods are concerned. That's rice, bread, pizza, just basically meat and a little bit of fruits, a little bit of vegetables, very little, but especially in the health drink, put a lot of veggies in that one. But cheeses, meats, and a little bit of dairy here and there. Obviously, cheese is a dairy. But My dinner last night, for example, was about, I don't know, half a pound of Parmesan cheese off the block. Just plain cheese, nibbling on it, enjoying it. From what I'm told, if you're doing that, you need to not only stick to proteins, but make sure not to get high lean proteins, because you want those fats. Your brain needs fats to operate functionally and also to help process it downstairs. So your 80-20 ground beef, for example, chicken breast with the skin on, chicken thighs, that kind of stuff, it satiates you, it feels good, it tastes good. Go ahead and enjoy it. I lost weight last night in the last 2 or 3 days, getting off the garbage and the high carbs. I've lost 5 pounds. I was at 190, reached right over 194. Now I'm at 189.6 as of this morning. And yes, I do weigh myself every morning. Now, if I'm going to the gym building muscle, the weight scale is not going to have much of an impact overall, because I'll be gaining muscle while I'm losing fat. I could theoretically stay at the same weight while I'm recompositioning the whole body in a good, healthy format. So I don't put everything on the belief of the scale. Some professionals don't do it at all. However, I like to do it because it reminds me constantly, hey, you need to make sure whatever you ate yesterday when I weigh myself in the morning, which just seems to be the best lowest time, whatever you ate last night, you need to make sure that you don't do it, or yesterday, make sure you don't do it again. Or, hey, looky here, you ate really good and clean yesterday, so now you've lost, a quarter pound, half pound, or maybe a whole pound. It's like awesome, little positivity in the morning. Get the day started right. Feel good about yourself. Feel good about what you did. Neurologists that work for, and behavior specialists that work for Facebook, Google, all this, they know those tiny little dopamine rewards in your head make you feel good and make you want to do it again. They help to furnish and establish good behavioral habits and traits. And it doesn't mean you're not going to fall down. It doesn't mean I'm not going to eat a cake in 2 weeks or something like that on a cheat meal. But what it does mean, though, is I'm doing the best I can like anybody. And I am trying. I'm actively trying. So as of, again, right at the late part of January there, I slipped right over the 194-pound weight area, which is just crazy for me. My highest weight ever was like 245 when I was in my early 30s. I'm nowhere near that right now, obviously. But I'll tell you what, you guys just looking at me, what do you think? Put it down in the comment section. How old do you think I am without looking at the other comments? Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to start self-hypnotizing myself to be on time as far as the meats and all that, and getting off the high carbs. That's easy. I don't have to hypnotize myself. I love chicken. I love beef. I love pork. Sorry, Muslims, but it tastes good. What can I say? But yeah, that's the two things I'm working on right now, and trying to get my finances back up. That's about all I got to say today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it or any of this was helpful or interesting, at least give it a quick like right down there. Just like it. So set up and subscribe, please. Send it to some family members if they can get a benefit out of it. And really appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think, good or bad. I'm okay. If you got some bad stuff to say in there, welcome to your opinion. It might help me out. But yeah, I welcome the positivity more. But that doesn't necessarily always, serve as a motivator. So, talk to you tomorrow. See you later.